I've been waiting for you, friends.
How could anyone do this?
Sega!
We're back. It's the Sega Swingin Report Show. Get ready as we celebrate the year of the Sega console. Good evening, and welcome to episode 72 of the Sega Swingin Report Show. This is our, I guess it's a Halloween special. It is airing on Halloween, and we'll talk about some scary games. But first, I have something really scary. I have my co-host George with me. Hello, George.
Hello. Sorry, I'm the one that was scared. Your spooky laugh in the start.
Sorry about
settled
that.
Me.
So it's going to be a unique show in that it's just you and me. We don't have special guests. It's been we're guestless for the first time in a long time, right?
Yep. And didn't you remember when we used to have special episodes when we actually had interviews? Now it's like, oh, we don't have an interview. That's a special episode.
Our specials are our normal episodes where we don't put as much effort into them. But hopefully we'll put some effort into today's show, give people something to listen to instead of going out and having fun on Halloween. So
yeah, stay home.
So typically on our old format, we would go around and say what we've been up to, what we've been playing. But I would like us to share our Sega Halloween memories. And by that, I mean share some of our favorite scary Sega games that are fitting for Halloween night. And George, I want you to begin.
House of the Dead is always a good one, I would say. That's a good one to start off with.
That's the
Deep Fear. Deep Fear, because I'm going to add it for AJ because he's not on here. I do not like Deep Fear, and I don't actually like Blue Stinger that much, and I think a lot of people don't like. Love those games. There's like a little cult following. But I prefer just a game like House of the Dead. I like to hang out with friends on Halloween, so that's a perfect game, co-op.
Definitely.
What about you, Barry?
I would definitely agree with House of the Dead. It's interesting. You think of Sega franchises that have continued to have new titles and new releases, and you could probably count them on one hand nowadays. You know, you have Sonic, Virtua Fighter. House of the Dead, it's been a series that has been pretty prolific, and I can't think of a span of maybe even 2 or 3 years House of the Dead title out. I mean, just recently we had Typing of the Dead Overkill, and they also released, what was it? The Lost Reels, I think it was called, for iOS, which was like a mobile House of the Dead Overkill.
But that's also the thing they do with House of the Dead games, I've noticed. They, like, milk them to the absolute fucking bottom. Like, oh, let's do a typing game out of this one, and let's do a mobile release out of the same game, you know? Not that it's bad, I mean...
Yeah, but, I mean, interestingly, the first House of the Dead, that's probably the one they've milked the least. I mean, I'm trying to think. It had a Saturn port. It was an arcade game first. Did it have a PC version?
Yes, I think there's a PC version. I'm pretty sure there's a PC version.
But outside of that, they didn't make it a typing version. They didn't, from what I can remember, I don't think they released it to Wii or any of the digital download services.
No, they totally skipped it on the 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's almost
collection.
It's one of those games where it's like people talk about what was it, Street Fighter 2. People don't really talk about the first Street Fighter all that much. It's kind of the same. I feel like maybe.
I was gonna say, do you skip the game if you play? Like, if you're doing a marathon, do you ever go like, I don't want to play House of the Dead one. That's not good.
No, absolutely not. But it's interesting that it's probably one of the harder House of the Deads to come by, unless you, unless you have an arcade to go to. I actually know of 2 House of the Deads that are nearby me right now. But yeah, I mean, the American Saturn release is incredibly rare. The Japanese release, which is hardly any different, is really easy to come by. But then you need to have a way to play import games, which isn't difficult, but still, it's tied to a retro console. You know, you're not going to find it on Steam or PSN. And speaking of PSN, 3 and 4 had their digital releases, and I mean, I'm just listing them now, but it's a very prolific series. So And like you said, it's great for party games. You get two people and maybe trade off every level with someone else if they want to dive in. It's
Yeah. It's very pick up and play. It's obviously an arcade game for obvious reasons, but it's not scary, obviously. I think it's more of a, you sit down with your friends, and then in between shooting these mutants, you're treated into a very cheesy cutscene that everybody laughs at, but it's one of those good things. It's like the same reasons you watch those old Arnold movies.
Well, would you say that the House of the Dead, what makes it what it is the cheesiness? Like, can you imagine a House of the Dead where they really put the scripting first and they're like, all right, this is going to be a game that scares the shit out of you. You're going to follow the story. Like, I can't imagine that working.
I can't either. It'd be too cringy. It'd be like, don't take yourself too seriously. I mean, it's like, I think it's called, I consider that like the Metal Gear Solid effect, where like the creator just got all serious with the plot, and he thought he had to explain anything, and he really couldn't explain it. It's just a fantasy universe.
Yeah.
And I don't think it needs a serious story. I think where it's at, it's good.
I think Overkill was a smart move in the sense that they could have just emulated the shitty voice acting by having characters continuing to go like, please don't shoot me. But instead they went the Grindhouse route, which is, again, something that's recently been emulated with like the Grindhouse double feature with Robert Rodriguez and Tarantino. So it's
yeah, of course that movie had a big thing, probably inspired him.
Absolutely. But I feel like the Overkill franchise, I feel like it's just been one game. It's really been stretched thin. We've had the Wii, we've had the updated version for PSN, which had the bonus stages. We've had the typing version. We've had the mobile version. It's like, would you want to see a sequel to Overkill?
I do want to see a sequel to Overkill. And I was actually going to ask you, like, do you even think that one's even possible now? I mean, when did the last one come out? 2008, 2009?
Yeah, it's been a while.
And it's like, okay, you guys have grabbed this franchise and you guys have put it on multiple consoles for obvious reasons. It's made money back.
Yeah.
Why not do a sequel right after? I don't understand why they just stopped, and didn't do anything with it and just ported it.
It was 2009, you're right. And Headstrong Games worked on it. To my knowledge, they're still around. So,
have they done anything after that game?
Well, I'm looking at what they've worked on, and they've worked on Lord of the Rings: Aragorn's Quest. They've worked on a Top Gun game.
Top Gun.
Since 2009, they've actually Lord of the Rings was one. They've been all over the place, really. Zumba Fitness, but interesting.
Oh, that's a classic.
They did work on Silent Hill Downpour.
Didn't that one, was that the good one, or was that, because there's like Silent Hills are like hit and miss, I've been told.
It says Ventra Games. It's kind of all over the place, but basically they're still in business. They worked on most recently Pokemon Art Academy. So if you can think of a developer, also Crush 3D. So if you can think of a developer that's just been all over the map in terms of what they've worked on, it's definitely them. But they've actually, I believe, they've changed their name. So it was Headstrong Games. Now it's Kuju Entertainment.
I guess that early 2000s song, I guess naming it after a song from like the early 2000s isn't a good thing.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. I mean, really, House of the Dead is the go-to franchise. There's a reason why I think whenever Halloween rolls around, we're like, well, let's do something House of the Dead related. But there are some more.
One that comes up.
Yeah, absolutely, and there are some more obscure titles I can think of. There's Decap Attack, which people might be pissed off that I called it obscure because it was a pretty popular game for the Mega Drive and Genesis, but it is obscure in that people don't really talk about it. It was in Sonic the Comic, I think, a few times, maybe more than a few. But that's a really wild game. Have you ever played that?
Of course I played it.
Good.
It's also a reskin from a Japanese game.
Yeah, like Mario 2, right? It's kind of weird.
Yep.
But
It is kind of weird, but it's something they did in the 90s a lot, I've noticed.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but yeah. But other ones I can think of, Mr. Bones for the Saturn. That's a really awesome game. I think it's one of those hidden gems. It's hard to come by just because it's not incredibly rare, but it's a multi-disc title, so you're going to have to get both discs to have a working version of the game. But it's
How
pretty
about
fun.
how about Condemned?
Condemned? Yeah, that's a popular one. Well, not popular, but that's a very cultish kind of game. Sega owns the IP, correct?
I don't even know, but I do know that Warner doesn't know how they have a hand in it. I guess they own Monolith. Is that what I heard?
Okay.
But that wouldn't make sense though, because I think they need to do a Lord of the Rings game, and that's EA.
Yeah, I don't think they own Monolith. They might own the rights to it. Sega published it. But no, Warner Brothers owns Monolith, which is why they would work on a Lord of the Rings game.
If people are going to pick it up, I would suggest the first one and kind of skip the second one because it gets kind of weird.
What
But
happened?
yeah, that's my opinion.
What gets weird?
It's, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like the guy's on a psychotic trip the whole time, and it's like, is this real? Is that real? And it's like, this is just weird. They tried to improve some of the formula, and they did do it. It just got too weird for me. I like the idea of just those, being a scary game instead of this weird psychotic drug-induced meltdown. It was weird.
Yeah.
It's a strange game. First one's a lot better, I think.
I can also think of Rise of Nightmares, which is an unpopular title because it was for the Kinect. But
I'm surprised how many Sega fans bring that game up that they want to port to another console. You're one of them, but I've heard other people.
it's from the staff who worked on House of the Dead and Jet Set Radio, surprisingly. And it's basically House of the Dead with motion controls and melee combat. So
it's kind of making me a little depressed that all these Sega developers are like behind this like add-on. Not because I would want more people to enjoy their games, but it feels like the guys from House of the Dead worked on Rise of Nightmares on Kinect, and then the guy that does Panzer Dragoon is working on Red Dragon or whatever it's called.
Crimson Dragon, yeah.
And it already came out. I don't even know if it did well.
It was moderately well received. I don't even know if it had Kinect controls or if they were just optional. But when I played demos at least 3 times in stores. They never touted the Kinect features. It was always controller in hand.
Okay.
But I guess that's kind of a scary game. But
dragons are scary.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, and then of course there's platformers always have, like when they run out of ideas, they're like, oh, we've done the jungle and we've done ice. Let's do Halloween. Sonic's done that.
Yes, Pumpkin Hill, man. Pumpkin
Hill and Mystic. Mystic Castle. And I'm trying to think what else. It's interesting though. There hasn't really been any. There's been like Egyptian tombs with ghosts, but there's never really been a true Halloween 2-dimensional stage in any of the classics.
How about if they did a survival horror Sonic game? Would that work out?
That would be pretty fun. What do you have in mind?
Everything takes place in Pumpkin Hill, and they play that rap song over and over again.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to collect pumpkins. That's the whole game.
I love it.
I would buy it.
All right. Well, we'll mention that to Sega.
When the song, yeah, for sure.
So,
be a Sonic Boom episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also, moving on to our next topic, if you want to, we've got 2 big games coming out this October. In fact, they've already released. The first one is...
And one of them is a horror game.
What's that?
One of them's a horror game.
Oh, yeah, Alien Isolation. And we did a little Let's Play of it, I believe, the day after it released. Have you played it much more since then?
I have played it, actually. I've actually beaten it. I've written the review of it, but it's like I'm waiting to capture footage of it before I put up everything, Mm-hmm. And it should be up like in less than a week. I'm waiting for a motherboard for my computer because my processor couldn't handle the recording it. So I was like, well, I'm going to replace it, so it will.
So what did you think of it? Would you say it's one of the scarier games you've played in a long time?
Oh, yes, it's really good. I like that they really limit what you could do. And so it's more about, really surviving instead of like, oh, I got this gun, I just don't have enough bullets. So, I think it's a different take on it, and it's pretty good. I like it. There's like I have minor issues with it, but I don't want to get too much into it. But it's like they should have really let me do more safe states. I can't figure. I've looked for it through it, and you can't do it. I don't think so. But besides that, good game.
How's the balance of how much you see the alien and how much you see other, I guess, aggressors?
It's pretty balanced, I would say. I think there's a little bit of everything. In my opinion, I think it was. It had really well thought out set pieces. It's just one of those weird games though that like you're playing it and you're like, oh, it's gonna be over right here, and then I'm gonna go to the restroom, and then nope, it's not over.
How often did you die?
Yeah, it just continues. Huh?
How often did you die?
Dude, a lot. Sometimes I died a lot. I want to make a compilation video of me trying to play it extra hard and then see how long it takes me to just pass a certain little area.
Right.
I want to start recording it and just put a compilation video of just me dying over and over, like super fast, just dying.
With classical music or something like that.
Yeah, of course, classical music.
Ballet.
Good
music.
game though.
Yeah.
And it looks gorgeous.
What did you think of the protagonist? I obviously I don't want to get into it, but there's been a lot of talk about women in video games, and I feel like not a lot of people are talking about how that's Isolation stars a female protagonist. Do you have any thoughts on her as a character?
I mean, she's just a normal video game character in a game. I mean, there's nothing particularly I would say. So I guess they could say sexist about the game. Mm-hmm. But it's like what I don't know what should a woman be like in the game? I'm assuming she's not a victim, technically she's surviving. Mm-hmm. So I think they handled her really really well. I mean, it's no Bayonetta super sexy guns on her boots, but
that's true.
Yeah. It's just a normal character. I mean, technically I wouldn't even say that it should even matter what the sex would be. So I'm just saying not sexist since it doesn't matter. It could have been a guy character.
Right, and I mean, especially with first-person games, I think it's important to not, I guess, focus on the character too much, just because I feel like it's more fun to live through the eyes of the character. So if you have a character who's incredibly extreme in one direction, or, like let's say you have a character who's constantly freaked out by things, but then it doesn't translate over to when you are the one controlling it. If you're really good at the game, then why is the character, a sissy,
Yeah.
It's almost like in RPGs when they have this character and they're kind of I wouldn't say, because I haven't played Isolation as much, so I don't want to give my comments on like the character itself of it's Amanda Ripley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah. I get all those Ripleys confused, but it's. Maybe it might. I'm wondering if it maybe goes along with that RPG kind of idea where it's like, "Hello, what's your name? Good, nice to meet you." Like they're a little more silent so that you can put yourself into them.
I mean, there is parts where she comes out and does the story, but the whole time when I'm finding the alien, I'm not even thinking about the story. I'm just thinking about getting to like point A to point B and surviving. I'm not thinking like, man, I'm a girl and I have badass boobs and a nice ass or anything like that. I mean, like, when you play Bayonetta 2, it's like she's an attractive woman and I'm an attractive woman beating up these demon things. But you're not really thinking that when you're playing Isolation.
No, and I mean, if you want, actually, we should maybe mention Isolation's doing pretty well in the sales. I haven't checked them for this week, but I know on release they were doing well. Wasn't it second behind a football game?
FIFA 15.
FIFA 15.
It sells a billion copies.
Which, I mean, obviously can be, it's FIFA. Of course it's going to do well in Europe. So,
of course.
Am I thinking of Bayonetta or Alien?
No, you're right. Bayonetta debuted in 7th place. Okay. Yeah.
So Alien definitely did better than Bayonetta. I mean, obviously it has a larger user base, but No, I mean,
it's also on more consoles.
yeah, but you can debate whether Bayonetta is a Sega game or not, but in the end, the Sega name is on the box, and when it comes to Isolation, Sega's name is right there, and they own the developer. So outside of the IP, it's all their work. So it's I would say October's been pretty good to Sega in terms of sales, in terms of review scores, and another game that we'll talk about after we talk about Bayonetta 2. Is there anything else you want to talk about with Isolation?
No. Oh, I mean, didn't the DLC come out? I haven't tried it, so I wouldn't know. But it's supposed to come out like 2 days ago, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't really read on it.
Yeah, it's I believe $7.99. Could be wrong. I don't want to be wrong ever. I don't ever want to.
So much money.
But from what I hear, it's pretty cool. I mean, obviously it reuses locations, but it's more games. So if you played Isolation and you're like, man, I'm tired of replaying this, I want to play more game, then it's there. But I feel like there's going to be like some sort of big addition with all of the DLC released down the road.
And I think, yeah, and that's the problem with these like DLC things. I mean, people want it. It's a very weird, touchy subject. Like, you got to deliver DLC and you got to do it quick before people will sell their game, copy, or stop playing it. And you also want people to actually buy the game for $60 instead of waiting for a Game of the Year edition.
Yeah.
It's a very tricky thing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how they could handle it. It's you lose either way, but yeah.
We also have Bayonetta 2, which just released, I believe it was on a Friday, this past Friday,
yes,
a week ago. Now, I'll admit I'm kind of working on some other games that I'm playing right now, particularly Panzer Dragoon Saga, which I need to finish, as well as I want to get into Isolation, but Bayonetta 2 is on my... What's that?
You haven't bought Bayonetta 2?
No, I have, but it hasn't come yet.
Oh, you did buy it. I haven't. Okay, I haven't bought it because I'm waiting. Cause, dude, I need to finish this freaking Alien. I've been busy and I need to finish this Alien and another review I'm doing for the site. Then we have another. I'm doing Sonic Boom review in a little bit too, so I got to catch up.
Exactly. So
after I'm done with that. After I'm done with that, I'm buying Bayonetta 2.
Yeah, I want to squeeze Bayonetta 2 in before I get to Boom. I mean, I played the demo. It's Bayonetta. It's more Bayonetta. It kind of reminds me of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in that it's it's more of the same, but at the same time it feels different. There's something about it. Maybe that's the frame rate or the update in graphics.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe the new character design kind of jumps out at me. But it's a little faster. It throws you right into the game, and from what I've played, it's really great. The only thing is I don't know how it compares pacing wise or story wise to the first one. I know the first one's story wasn't all that great or important, but I still had
it felt like they dropped you in the middle of a movie and they're like, you don't know what the fuck is going on, just kill things.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all I really want is a lot of great character moments, which I think Bayonetta, the first one, was filled with. I liked Enzo and I liked Rodin.
Yeah.
Who I believe is playable in a multiplayer mode. But
how do you feel about Bayonetta as a woman character?
As a female character, I think I kind of touched on this not too long ago. It might have even been on our little Halloween show. But basically, I mean, as a man, obviously, she's attractive and she's got, all that going for her. But I think what a lot about her character that says a lot about her is that when I think of Bayonetta, I'm not thinking of objectifying her. I want to be her. You know what I mean? And I don't mean I want to put on lipstick and dress up right her, but I want to control her. I want to do that sort of combat. I want to have all that power. When I say I want to control her, I mean I want to play the game.
You sound like you're into dominatrix.
No, Does that make sense? It's kind of like
No, I understand that you find her as an appealing character. Do you want to play as, right?
I feel like she has a very strong. People say this sometimes. People are like, Bayonetta. It's kind of dirty though, but basically, people say that she knows people want to fuck her, but she knows that she holds all the cards, so she uses that to her advantage. You're not going to have her. No one is.
She's like a flirt.
She's a flirt, but I feel like not in the sense that degrades her as a character. I think it kind of strengthens her. I mean, you can look at she's kind of like James Bond. It sounds like a weird comparison, but it's kind of like everyone wants to be James Bond. They want to have that power, but very few people think, oh yeah, I'm going to seduce James Bond. No, he seduces you, and usually uses it to his advantage.
I think it's a woman power fantasy, I would say. Like, it's the opposite, literally, of what they did with Dante or they do with FPS superheroes or whatever they do. For us, it's like we want to be this. When we were kids, we were like, yeah, superheroes. They have big old muscles, and they do that.
Yeah.
And I think for like women, it's like I want to be super attractive and like beat up everything and have all these guys,
yeah,
at her fingertips, like they're paying her attention. I mean, why would anybody want attention? I mean, that's the same thing of all video games. You're the main character.
Yeah.
For a reason.
And I mean,
so
that's a good point too. Sorry. I mean, with in regards to muscles, you look at what women, these I wouldn't even say stereotype, but the generalization of what women see as attractive, and it's the big muscly man. You look at like Superman, you look at Daniel Craig, you look at those sorts of characters, or like Han Solo, Indiana Jones. They got some muscle, they're kind of gritty, and then you look at what men see attractive in women, that we're not going to be saying, oh, I want a big muscly woman. Some guys are, and they can have that, if they want, but the general consensus is not that. It's I don't know, I can't really sum it up, but basically I think that James Bond analogy kind of works for me in that I see her as just she's kind of like this ultimate woman, but not in the sense that the ideal woman, but more like she's just got all this power and you want to be her. Yeah.
And I think it just fits with Platinum Games. Like, they're this company that wants to like get stuff that's normal and just turn it upside down, and that's kind of like what Bayonetta is like. It's like, oh, remember Dante? He was super sexy dude. That was cool. We're doing that with a woman now.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just the way they are, and I think it fits their personality.
Yeah, they crank it up to the extreme pretty much.
All the time. All the time.
Kind of like Robert Rodriguez or like Grindhouse. But
yes.
But the game, I guess, has it been selling? It's selling as well as I guess a Wii U title can sell.
Yeah, I'm assuming. I mean, it charted at number 7. I don't know what that even means. There's no sales numbers behind that, but it's like, what do you expect? I mean, from a Wii U. I'm not saying it's a bad console. I own a Wii U. You own a Wii U. It's
we own a Wii U.
Yeah, we both own a Wii U, but it's like, it's like 8 million units sold or something like that. I'm sure it's going to go over past 10 million now during the holidays, but not that many people are owning it. It's like Dreamcast levels here.
Yeah.
Not good.
But at the same time, I think it helps that they have the Smash Brothers and they have Amiibo and they have Mario Kart. So there's these more popular, successful games that are getting Wii U's into households. And when people, think, all right, I played Mario Kart, I want something else. What's out there? Oh, God, look, Bayonetta 2 getting great review scores. It has 2 games in one, $50, $60.
Did I tell you when my friend told me when Bayonetta 1 came out and I told him I was reviewing it?
What did he say?
He asked me if the game was really sexy. That's what he asked me. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I guess he said he heard a program on the radio or something where you're saying that the character was too sexy or something. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Is it sexy?
So that's like
really?
what the meat. Yeah, my friend only plays like sport games, so he's kind of, I guess, a mainstream gamer.
But she uses it as her weapon, really.
Yeah, of course. I just thought it was funny that that's what they're promoting the game as, you know.
Yeah, that's true. There was that trailer before it. Remember the original Bayonetta trailer, and it was like, "I'm going in for the kill," na na na, na. And it uses that pop song, and then like the bullets fall, and then her foot comes down. Boom! Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
It's one of my favorite teaser trailers. It's pretty good. But yeah, Bayonetta 2 out there. Both that and Isolation make a very good combination of games with the Sega logo on them. And you know, do you want to talk a little bit?
We didn't talk about.
What's that?
Go on. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
no.
No, I just noticed that we're talking about it next, so I'm not going to say anything.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I was just going to say, you know, it's obviously it was developed by Platinum Games. Nintendo played a big part in the game coming out. There are rumors that Sega was developing it, then they had to cut back and they canceled it. There are other rumors that Sega were cutting back and they told Platinum Games, look, we can't afford to do this. Either we cancel it or you need to help. You need to find somebody else, you know. And so there very well could be, you know, the truth is that Sega said, you know, Nintendo, do you want to take this game? But I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are vilifying Sega when it comes to Bayonetta 2. I know there's that one review.
Rumors of they go differently, but yeah, it's weird. It's an interesting story. I wish they would be more broad about the deal. We don't know anything about the deal, really. I mean, does Sega make money off of it? How does that work?
They own the IP. That's the thing, and their name's on the box, so they must be getting a cut.
I would say they would be taking a cut because I've heard that they funded a certain percentage of the actual game. It's just that they didn't want to complete the whole fund, I guess.
Right.
For the full game.
And I mean, let's be honest, you know, yes, Nintendo played a part, and Platinum Games obviously played a part being the developer, but so did Sega. They own the IP. They may not have been, if the rumors are true, they may not have been the best party of the three involved, but still in the end, they played a part, and the game's out, people are playing it, and honestly, it's one of those games I never thought we would see a sequel to this soon.
And you know what's funny also about this whole Nintendo taking responsibility and Sega being villain? It's funny because like the big sites are like Sega should have done this, they missed out. I understand that, but then now we have other Sega fans that are like posting on our like Facebook and stuff, and they're like, it should come to the PS3, we deserve it. I'm like, all right, like I don't know, like Sega has nothing to do with it. It's Nintendo, so like. I don't know, it just feels like we're getting bitched at it both sides. Like,
yeah.
I mean, of course I would rather have it on all consoles and Sega as a publisher, but, I mean, Nintendo saved it, but we're still getting complained that it's not being published by Sega on everything.
Yeah. The original Bayonetta, I think it was a moderate to pretty good success in terms of sales and obviously review scores. But then you look at Sega's history with Platinum Games. They had Vanquish, which was a fantastic game, but really didn't sell that well. Mainly because I feel like it didn't know what it wanted to be in terms of marketing it. I don't know if that's Sega's problem or if it's Vanquish just coming out at the bad time.
And I think some reviewers didn't even understand what the game was how it's supposed to be played. I think it was, I was reading a STEM journal, with a Jim Sterling interview, and he criticized the covering system or something like that, or like, that covering didn't really matter or something. Like he couldn't just stay in cover, but it's like the game was not a cover shooter. You're literally supposed to be moving around the whole time to get it. Like if you take cover in that game, it literally reduces your score. It's a penalty.
Yeah.
So so he didn't. I don't think. I mean, I think there should have been like a tutorial or something.
Yeah, and then of course there was Anarchy Reigns, which I think you'll remember very well. We would report on teaser trailers and new photos. They were like, this week they're debuting a new character, and then the game just went silent. And it was about 6 months or so until we even heard rumors that it was releasing soon.
And also it was supposed to be. It was very advertised as a worldwide launch on day one, so everybody could play together worldwide. Yeah. And that didn't happen.
So I think Sega and Platinum Games their relationship kind of fell apart. who's to say what went wrong? But regardless, we do have Bayonetta 2. And, you never know. We might see a Bayonetta 3. I'm not saying that it will happen, but if Bayonetta 2 can happen, then I could see a Bayonetta 3. Not that I think we need one. I mean, they're both fantastic games. I don't know why we need a third fantastic game, right? But
yeah, I know. Why do we want good games? Forget about it.
I'm kind of joking, but still,
I was joking too. I'm joking.
The Bayonetta gameplay style can only go so far until people start going, Bayonetta 3 is just Bayonetta 2, this.
I think it would have to be more on focusing on level design.
Yeah.
I think.
Most definitely, because I don't think there's a story there that people want. It's not like Shenmue 3 where we're like, Sega, Nintendo, we want Bayonetta 3 to continue the story. I don't even know what the story is. You sit me down, I can't tell you. I don't remember. But,
yeah, I agree with that.
But there's a third title, a surprise title, a game that I wouldn't say we were first, but we were very, very close to being. We were one of the first sites to report on it, and this isn't. Sure, I'm gloating, but I think it also is just a sign of how popular the news was when Valkyria Chronicles was announced.
You have a big old smile on your face right now, don't you?
Me, yeah. Well, it was 10 times the traffic we usually get. I'm not going to say what the traffic is that we usually get, but it was 10 times the amount.
Yes, and it was very popular on the 4chans and the NeoGAFs.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about this Valkyria Chronicles coming to PC, Barry?
Well, it being a fan site, we do get tips. We get little inside pieces of info. Usually we can't report on it, and I don't think I'm hurting anyone's feelings when I say we did, or not hurting anyone when I say that we did hear about this a long time ago, at least 10 or 11 months ago. And there's even word now that 7 months ago, Valkyria Chronicles appeared in some form on Steam. I don't know if it was maybe a line of code or like a mention of it, but there was an official mention. So this has been in the works for a while. The question is, why did it take this long? It could have been timing. Maybe they said, look, October is the ideal time. People did note that it marks the World War I anniversary?
Yeah, is it the anniversary for World War I?
You know what? You ask me about U.S. history, I'm not going to know a damn thing. Sega history, that's another thing.
That's another topic.
Yeah.
If there was a college to go and you did Sega history, that'd be pretty cool. Professor Barrett.
That anime that came out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's November 11th. Isn't that when the game comes out?
Yep.
Yeah, and that's when World War I ended in 1918.
So you get to celebrate by playing World War I version, an anime version of World War I.
I don't want to even get U.S. history wrong, but regardless, it's coming out soon. What do you think about it?
I'm super excited, dude. I'm like, when I heard the news, like when we heard that this was coming out and they were working on it, I was like, oh, I gotta tell everybody.
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter status updates. Yes. And I'm like, and so yeah, I'm happy. It kind of, hit me by surprise. The same thing, like, even though I know it was coming, I woke up and I got excited again when I read about it again. So I'm very excited. I bought a PS4 for this freaking game. Like the game came out and I was like, I gotta buy a PS4 for this. PS3? I have to. PS3, sorry, yeah. PS4. I'm ahead of myself.
Sega, but yeah, it's been a long time coming, but we heard about it, we reported on it. Sega, actually, they tweeted about it, and coincidentally, they used the exact same photo that we used for our header photo. I looked at the files; they were different files. Maybe it was I don't know. I just like thinking Sega looks at our site. They do, but
don't.
But Aaron Weber used to visit all the time. But they did release the press release, and they did mention that some savvy sites did break the news early. So, they think about us. They know. They know. But
they know we know.
Yeah, they know we know, and we know they know, and Wii U, Wii U. But they did reveal some more information just through Twitter. Recently, they've announced that there's been remappable controls, keyboard, mouse supported, and obviously more info as they get closer to launch. They also answered the question about screen resolution. It's 720 and 1080p, as well as higher resolutions, depending on your max monitor resolution. 60 frames per second supported as well. So
it's the ultimate version of the game, guys, and it's only $20.
$20, you get
steal.
DLC, and it's between 10 and 25% off, depending on where you buy it.
Also, this one is going to have achievements, and like the PS3 version didn't have trophies because it came out before trophies were a thing,
right?
And that was the one, like one of the top 5 requested PS3 games that everybody wanted trophies for. I think it was number 2. I think number 1 was like Metal Gear Solid 4, and I think that did get an update later on. Sega never updated Valkyrie Chronicles, so now you could buy it on PC and get it if you like that kind of stuff.
Funny thing is too, since it uses the I guess the Xbox 360 kind of control buttons. I was looking at screens. It's just kind of funny to see those A, B, X, Y mapped on top of Valkyria Chronicles. Just it's a little strange.
Oh yeah, I know. I use the 360 control. Honestly, I like it a lot, but it's kind of weird going to the PS3 for like different. I think the joysticks are a lot better. At first, I didn't really think so when I was playing a lot of PS3, but I can't. I like that controller. Depending on what though, I like fighting games. I like better on the PS3. I don't know. That's it though.
Some people are annoyed that it's not coming to 360 as well, but that's just 360 is kind of on the way out. Let's be honest. We're lucky to get it on PC.
Yeah, and I think its requirements are really low. I think a lot of people would be able to play it at decent settings.
Yeah. But so that's October. It's been an insanely busy month just for announcements and games coming out. November we have Sonic Boom on Wii U and 3DS. Also the TV series debuts on November 8th, Saturday, and rumor is that it's at 7 in the morning. So Sonic fans are kind of freaking out that no one's going to watch it. But let's be honest, it's targeted as little kids. Little kids get up early.
I didn't.
I did. I did. What was it? Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog aired at 6:30 in the morning.
Damn.
I was up every morning watching it during the week. Granted, that was for school, but still, 6:30 in the morning. So when we have Sonic Boom coming out, presumably a half hour later, so we'll see. We'll see. And
I think it'll do fine. It's Sonic.
Yeah, and kids don't live by television anymore. They check it out online. I'm sure we're going to have a thing where you go on to CartoonNetwork.com and watch the latest episode for the next week.
Yeah, I think it should probably have. Yeah, I mean, that's a future.
Yeah. I watched the show Clone Wars, and Cartoon Network moved it from Friday nights to Saturday mornings. People complained, but it really didn't faze me because I always watched the show next day online. So
you had to do it on Sunday now?
Yeah, so I would just have to watch, instead of Saturday, I'd have to watch it online Sunday. And it was legit watching, too, because they put new episodes up online for free for people to watch.
So now that we're talking about Sonic Boom, you actually played both games, right? The 3DS and the Wii U version?
Yes, I attended. I don't think we talked about this on the podcast. Maybe we.
No, we haven't. So I mean, this is a good idea right now to talk about. I mean, just give me your general overview of the games, like what you thought about them, what you played.
All right. Well, I attended the Sonic Boom event in New York City. Had a lot of fun. I wrote a whole thing up on the website. People can check that out. But I did get a chance to play the Wii U and 3DS versions. The lines were reasonably. They weren't that long. Maybe five to six people per line. But thing was from what I've heard from E3 impressions, the demo can be really long if you want to play all 3 available segments. So I just picked one. I picked one that was a speed section with some light combat. I think I chose poorly just because I feel like the speed sections are probably the weakest or the which is a shame because, it's a Sonic game. The speed section should be the best. But, it kind of played like Sonic Dash. You could still freely move around, but there was also kind of this lane sort of setup where you could go left, right, middle.
So they kind of took the idea behind the rails and generations and just it's still for everything, all the speed sections?
For the speed sections, yeah. But from what I remember, I feel like I could move around freely, but if I wanted to, I could kind of snap to the lanes. I could be wrong, but that's what I feel like I remember. And then, of course, you'd hit a spring, go up, and then you would have to hit a button to use your energy beam to, swing over to something. So it definitely has that sort of Sonic Unleashed vibe, maybe slowed down a lot, but still where you're, you speed, left, right, jump, homing attack, that sort of thing where you need to get into this sort of rhythm. The only problem was the camera, I felt, was kind of finicky. It couldn't really keep up with me. I would hit like a boost thing and the camera would still stay back, and then suddenly it would like jump up and speed up with me again. So
that's kind of weird.
That was kind of weird. The thing is, though, that's not the biggest part of the game. The big part is more of that adventuring, exploring, combat sort of thing, which I did not get to try out as much in that part of the demo. But from what I played, it feels like the Werehog, but sped up and more refined and more fun.
I think kids are really going to probably dig it. I mean, that's the demographic these games are for.
Yeah, and the one thing I'm wondering though with Sonic Boom is they're spanning games, TV, and comic books. The games weren't the first thing we heard about. The first thing we heard about was the TV series. So I almost have to wonder, what is the backbone of Sonic Boom? Is it a TV series that also has games and comics? I'm sure Sega would want us to say that it's all three. None of them come before the other. But I'm
assuming that it's based on the show, and then all these things are just merchandise, I guess. But it's I think a lot of people, if you ask them, "Hey, what do you think TMNT is?" and they'd tell you a movie or a cartoon when it was actually a comic book.
Yeah, so I feel like that's what Sega wants fans to say. And if you ever asked Sega PR or any of the developers, they would. I don't think any of them would say, "Well, the game comes first, the TV show comes first," But just from my impressions, I feel it felt like a game based on a TV show, which isn't a bad thing. I've played good games based on TV shows, but it's just the fact that, I don't know, I felt like on one hand, the game is supposed to have important character moments and revelations. So maybe they even reverse engineered it, said, hey, how does the TV show, how did this happen in the TV show? And they said, oh, you can do that in the game. So maybe it was a collaborative experience. I don't know, but...
well, I've heard it was a prequel, wasn't it, to the TV show?
Yeah, which I think that's how it works. So yeah, but so I got to play the Wii U version. It wasn't bad. It wasn't. It felt a lot more like a PlayStation 2 platformer, which isn't a bad thing, but it's not a Sonic game so much. Then again, Mean Bean Machine and Sonic Spinball aren't exactly Sonic games, but Sonic's in them, and people consider them Sonic titles, spin-offs, I guess. So it felt like a spin-off, a decent spin-off. I didn't play as much as I could have to get a real firm impression of it. The 3DS version... Oh, go on.
Go on. I was going to ask you, this kind of feels like Sonic Team is working on something right now, probably.
Yeah.
And Sega didn't want to bother them and ask them, hey, can you guys stretch yourselves thin again like you guys usually do and make a tie-in game for this universe, Yeah.
So, Sonic Boom is giving... I feel like also maybe Sonic Team's tired of rushing games. So they said, you know what, if we have a second Sonic franchise, we can have 2014 Sonic Boom, 2015 Sonic Team, 2016 Sonic Boom. So each franchise will exist through the cartoon shows and the comics, but then when there's the games coming, they go every other year, which I think's a good idea because I could have sworn someone said Sonic Boom needs to do well for Sonic Team's sake, and I didn't know what they were talking about, but it was someone who I believe has inside info. I don't know. maybe it even could be, and we've talked about this before, that there are things that Sonic Lost World tried to be that Sonic Team shouldn't have listened to, in the sense of westernizing it more, simplifying the storyline, making it more kid-friendly. I feel like
making it more. I would say I think a lot of people use Nintendoing it.
Yeah,
but I mean it's kind of hard to say no to that when it was on a Nintendo platform and they kind of did have a like Mario Galaxy look.
Yeah,
and aspects.
But overall, it's kind of like, I really like, you mentioned Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's a franchise I really like. Now, it's not a franchise where I've explored every single aspect of it, like the 2003 TV series I never watched. But if you sat me down, I could enjoy it just because I like Ninja Turtles. I feel like that same way towards Sonic Boom. Like, I like Sonic, so if you sit me down, I'll enjoy aspects of it. It might not be all for me. I would consider it like my Sonic, but I can see myself enjoying it. But then again, like I said, I didn't get to play as much of the Wii U one. The 3DS one, I did get to play a lot more, and I really enjoyed that. It kind of played like Sonic CD, where you would more explore the map rather than going from start to finish. It also kind of had a slower, more platforming kind of pace of Sonic 1. And people have also compared it to Tails Adventures, which the Game Gear game, which is kind of like RPG Light. And it feels like a game that would have a lot more meat to it than Lost World 3DS or Generations 3DS did, which I'd really enjoy, just because you spend $30-$40 on a new Sonic 3DS game and you're done with it in 2 days, which kind of sucks. So
yeah, it does.
So it looks like a game that has a lot more content to it. Plus, you can switch on the fly between characters, but it's not like Sonic Heroes where they're following each other. It's just kind of like, if you want Sonic, then boom, your character turns into Sonic, which... I
think it's kind of ballsy for Sega to go like, oh, like they dropped Sonic Friends for like, forever now. It feels like. And this new team that's never done a Sonic game's like, fuck it, we're using every character and we're adding a new one. So, I don't know, that's pretty ballsy. Hopefully it works out for them. But it's like, I don't know, Sonic Team couldn't do it after like so many tries. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And I guess the TV series, we saw a preview for that at the show. That looks really good. I know it's created in France, and I feel like the lip syncing looked kind of off, which makes me wonder if they animated for the French voices and then they dubbed it for the American voices, because it didn't seem like dead on at times when the characters were moving their mouths, and maybe that's just because they don't have the most expressive CG rigs for the characters,
So the show is marketed and created for French TV or for American TV? For
American, but it's from a French company, which makes me wonder which voice actors they're really animating to. I could be wrong. I'm used to watching Pixar and things like that, where they put they put millions into creating characters, whereas with TV animation, it's, open, close your mouth. They got a few moves, but it's definitely not as involved. But still, it looks like a funny show. It's 11 minutes an episode, which means it won't overstay its welcome. Like as much as I like Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, the episodes do get kind of tired after the halfway point.
I was going to say, do they? Is it going to be 11 minutes, and then it's going to be a different show for another 11 minutes to make up the whole half-hour block?
No, it looks like they're going to have 2 11-minute episodes.
So it's going to be like Adventure Time does it in regular show.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that works to Cartoon Network's benefit, because if they want to mix it up and do marathons, they can do 11 minutes of Sonic, 11 minutes of Adventure Time, things like that. And I've gotten previews of all of those. Cautiously optimistic of the Wii U game. Looking forward to the 3DS game, TV series. Well, it's not marketed at me. It looks like a show that I'd enjoy watching. I'm not one to watch kids.
And you read the comic though, right? Too.
Yeah, and I did. I got the comic today. I read it, and it's good. The artwork's really good. It's a lot more like the the old Sonic comics, where it's more humorous and self-referential, doesn't take itself so seriously. And there are, it's interesting because I thought, maybe the comics would reveal some things. It really didn't reveal a lot. Sonic lives on a tropical island with everyone, but they didn't say anything.
Plot spoiler.
At the beginning, they say, "Welcome to Sonic's tropical island." So it seems like they all live on an island, kind of like the original Sonic game, with South Island. Eggman lives off the coast on his own little island with a tower, which kind of reminded me of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, where he had his own little home base. His assistant robots, Orbot and Cubot, live with him. But what I found interesting was that, Knuckles just kind of hangs out. He's not like, I gotta guard the Master Emerald. He's just kind of like, I'm Sonic's tough friend. So
he's like Jay or in Silent Bob in like those other movies, like he just hangs out and looks tough.
Yeah, which is funny because Knuckles has always been defined by having this backstory with the floating island and the ancients, but from what we've seen in the games, there are hints that the echidnas do have a bigger history because there's these like almost Lord of the Rings epic statues, ancient statues of these giant echidnas like by waterfalls and things like that. And a spoiler alert, if people want to skip ahead by 2 minutes, is that at the end of the first issue, Knuckles gets kind of pissed off at Amy Rose, so he decides to go and visit Eggman, and he basically teams up with Eggman at the end of the issue.
Because he has a fit with fucking Amy Rose?
Yeah, because
only in comic books, dude.
But she's like giving Knuckles a hard time, saying, you never think, you're kind of an idiot, something like that. And he's like, well, fuck this. So he shows up at Eggman's front door, knocks on it, and he's like, hey, I want to team up with you. So it's going to be interesting to see that sort of dynamic that we haven't seen in a long time, where Knuckles and Eggman team up, like in Sonic 3.
I would like it. I would like it that the comedy plays out where like Knuckles is too psychotic for freaking Eggman, and he's like, please just leave me alone. So it becomes the fact that he's basically using Eggman instead of Eggman using him.
That would be, and you see, that's what I almost expect from this series, which is why I kind of like it, just because it's playing with those expectations of the characters. I wouldn't put it past them to do that, so it should be interesting. I just hope that, I don't want the series Sonic Boom in general to get as deep as the Archie comics got, where it's like, oh, we have the king and we have the queen and we have this whole backstory and all this shit. But at the same,
all this shit.
Yeah, at the same time, I do want to have something interesting. Otherwise, it's just going to be the same old with, hey, Eggman, I hate you. And he's like, oh, get you again. I'd like to see some sort of deeper story there. Nothing crazy deep, but at least maybe go, oh, my God, Knuckles, you're the guardian of a floating island. And then they, explore that or something.
Or did it have more of a comedic tone to the comic?
Oh yeah, definitely. There wasn't anything that really felt dramatic,
I mean, it's hard for comic books to make you, I guess, laugh. But like, did you think the humor was like you just, you like the humor?
Yeah, I did. It was they were playing up with, in like superhero comics and even the Sonic comics, when a new character is introduced, they'll go, oh, hey, Sonic the Hedgehog, and the big logo will be there instead of...
Yeah.
And so Tails says that to Sonic, and then Sonic says that to Tails, and then Knuckles appears, and he's like, it's me, Knuckles the Echidna, and yeah, I get to say my own name, something like that. And then
that's pretty cool.
And then Styx comes by, which really, they don't really do too much with her in this one. She's kind of like a conspiracy theorist, and I don't know. But she's like...
She's Del Gribble of the Sonic universe?
Probably. But she comes by and they're like, oh, hey, Styx the Badger. And she's like, what was with my name? And like, oh, that happens every time we say a character's name. It'll be normal next issue. And then later on, Sonic's like, no one can stop me, Sonic the Hedgehog. And he's like, yeah, I get 2 logos. So
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
it was.
So
funny.
it's a lot of fourth wall breaking Deadpool, I guess.
Yeah.
Where they know you're in a comic book.
They don't know they're in a comic book, but they do kind of comment on the word the logos popping up. So it's, I don't know. I mean, and to be honest, Sonic's really weird. It's a bunch of animals and a evil doctor. So why not have some fun with it and be a little goofy.
I agree.
So I think kids will enjoy it. I think fans like myself who are interested in checking out all aspects of the franchise will enjoy it. I'm not going to go all in and like buy the action figures or I'll play the games. I'll check out the comics from time to time. I don't know if I'm going to buy every single one, but I'm up for being a casual Boom fan. I don't know.
You a casual Boom fan.
Well,
you bought the first comic. I think that's a little. I think that puts you up above casual.
Then again, I work on a fan site, so I was walking to work and I saw the comic. I'm like, hey, there's content for the site.
No. I was going to say, where do you find comic books that you just walk by? I'm just wondering. I mean, I know you live in a bigger city, so.
Oh.
And I'm a comic book fan, but I order usually all my stuff through the mail because of all that.
There's a magazine and newspaper place that has a circular stand with all the Archie and DC and Marvel comics on it. So.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they get them in on day of release. The only thing is you got to get them fast, otherwise people flick through them and ruin the spines, and they look like shit after a week. So. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, it's not like a comic book store, where they keep them in nice shape.
I think that's a negative about the comic book industry. They should try to expand instead of staying in their own shops, but that's an issue for another day.
Oh, for sure.
I was going to say, you want to talk about the Mega Drive book?
Yeah, the Mega Drive Genesis, the collected works from Darren Wall, who's appeared on our show twice now. That just released. Actually, it started shipping on Monday, and people in the UK should start receiving it any day now. I was a Kickstarter backer, so I'm looking to get mine probably early to mid next week. And the show has a good relationship with Darren. We also have a good relationship with Blake J. Harris of the Console Wars books. So we do have something in the works with both of them, and we'll reveal that.
We're going to make them fight each other.
Well, yeah, we were going to make them. we were going to strip them down, give them their respective books, and then tell them to fight to the death using the books as weapons.
One's going to have a Sega Genesis, and one's going to have a Sega Mega Drive.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we could finally decide which title is better, and then at the end, Tom Kalinske will stand over them and give the thumbs up or thumbs down.
Gladiator status.
Yeah, and we'll hold it on Sonic Tuesday.
Ooh.
Yeah, but no, the book looks beautiful. I'm
hoping that it looks as beautiful in real life as in pictures, because I don't want it to be one of those Whoppers,
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be really awesome looking. There's a lot of great reviews in there. And, we talked about this with Darren as well when they got...
There's a podcast for that, about that.
Yeah, maybe I'll annotate it in. But when they got more money through the Kickstarter, instead of him going, yeah, I'm going to print more stickers or something stupid, he put all the money into the book. So that means the paper quality got better. The book even, I think, became 50 to 100 pages longer. So really, I think that's a great idea. If you're kickstarting a book and you get more money, put the money into the book. Don't put the reward is the book. Don't put the money into stupid stuff. There are some really cool posters. Which I wish I got, but those were for the special editions, which were a couple $100, I think. So, but no, the book's available for pre-order, and I want to get his name right, so I'm going to look it up real quick. I know it's Rom Alerts, but I forgot what his website is.
All right. I was going to say the book looks really good. I was I kind of like the idea that he has a lot of like stuff we've never seen. I think that's a big issue with Sega history. It's not as covered, I think, as something like, I think, well, Sonic the Hedgehog is, I would say.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Sonic has a history book.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like other Sega franchises, I think they get glossed over, and like I think a lot of companies do. I think Sunsoft and a lot of those companies that made, I think, some of the best games of their time kind of get glossed over, and Nintendo and other bigger franchises get all the attention. So that's pretty nice that we got a book based. Of course, we all asked him, "Is this game in? Is this game in?" on the podcast.
Yeah, and he was like, yes, no, yes, no. They fit in as much as they could. Of course, they couldn't do licensed titles due to licensing issues, which is a shame because there's a lot of great Sega-developed third-party title or licensed titles like Ghostbusters and the Disney ones.
Yeah. I was gonna say right now, I don't think we asked too much. I don't think. I was thinking when you said third party, I was like, I don't think we asked for Mortal Kombat or anything.
No, we're not that. We're not that dumb. Is Power Stone in it? Because Power Stone's a pretty good Sega game.
Yeah, I like that one. This is first of all, it's Sega Genesis era, and
his website is readonlymemory.vg. The book is, despite being a Kickstarter project, it is for sale. It's £35, which translates to something in American, which I don't know. But
that's a lot of that £35. That sounds like a good bargain. That's what I was going to say. I don't know what that is.
But he has the regular version. He also has a special edition one that I mentioned. By the way, £35 in US dollars is $55, which I swear I spend less. So I think Kickstarter backers did get a little deal. But it's hardcover, 350 pages, 8 gatefold pages, which means you get these super long, pretty pages. Special edition, I believe it comes with a sleeve. It also has a specially commissioned illustration of Sonic and Dr. Eggman by their creator, Naoto Oshima. And I believe it also comes... It might come with the poster, another poster. I could be wrong. Maybe the poster was a Kickstarter exclusive.
And if you guys are looking for books to put on your bookshelf that look very, very cute, this is the book because, man, that thing looks nice.
Yeah, and the holidays are coming up. So
you could buy Barry another copy.
Yeah, buy me a special edition one. They only cost £250.
Oh, that's like $400, dude.
Yeah, I know. But hey, it's a beautiful book. So more info on that as I guess once I get the book. So what else do we have? Yes, and then I guess to complete the show, George, do you want to tease what's coming up in tomorrow? Actually, what's starting tomorrow?
A long time ago, Sega released a console called the Sega Saturn. Now it's gonna be its anniversary next month. I think it's 15th anniversary. No, wait. 10th. No, what? Jesus Christ! Isn't it like? No, 15th was the Dreamcast, wasn't it?
What day is it? Where am I?
We're doing Sega Saturn. I mean, what year anniversary is this? What
20.
number year? It's not 15. Huh?
20.
I can't hear you.
Oh, it's 20.
Oh, 20. Okay.
Look at us. We're like, we're going to celebrate the Sega Saturn. God, how old?
No, for some reason I had stuck in my mind that it was 15 years old and the Dreamcast was younger, and I was like, dude, no, wait. We celebrated. I was remembering the last time I celebrated. I'm like, what is going on? And it got a brain fart. Sorry about that.
No, there's so many Sega console anniversaries this year, which is why we've been celebrating so many of them. Dreamcast is 15, Saturn is 20, Genesis is 25.
Jesus. That's beautiful numbers right there.
Beautiful, and I mean some of those are region exclusive. For example, the Genesis is the American one. It's 20. Mega Drive's 26. Actually, this past week.
Yeah, so we're gonna be celebrating Sega Saturn stuff all month long. Hopefully, we have some good stuff that you guys will love. I have some ideas for some stuff, and hopefully we're not too busy. I mean, Sega's actually literally giving us games. So, I mean, like, there's actually games coming out by Sega, so it's kind of and now we're like covering also retro stuff, so a lot of work.
I don't know why we do this to ourselves, but yeah, November's going to be a big month. We're going to have some Sonic Boom content, some Boom reviews. We're also going to do a lot of Sega Saturn stuff. My Life with Sega, we already have all the episodes for the month completed and ready to post.
It's DLC.
Yeah, we're also going to have another episode of This Is Saturn. I believe that's going to debut on Sunday or Monday, and that's going to have Monday, I think, and that's going to be virtual on. So yeah, we got a lot of videos, hopefully some retro reviews, a special podcast. I have a few in mind.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And we'll all be really busy, and we'll try to do as much as we can. So.
Before we go, I want to ask you one question because we're never going to be able to talk this because we have interviews coming up.
That's right.
Are you going to buy? Did you buy any of the Amigo figures or pre-order any of them?
Nope.
Nope. You're not going to buy any, even if there's a Sonic one.
If there's a Sonic one, I'll buy it, but I don't think there will be, and I'm not interested in them.
Oh, really? Man, I don't know, man. I really like the idea, but I want them as all Sega characters. That's my issue.
I'm not interested in Nintendo. I don't want any Nintendo merch.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's my only issue. I'm like, I wish Sega would just bring their whole line of characters. I would buy them all, even if they didn't work on anything. Money
put towards a Amiibo figure could go towards one of those huge Sega statues. Would you want
$400 Robotnik?
Oh God, don't get me started on that. Yeah, the Xbox One.
Yeah, you want it, don't you?
I want it, but I don't want it. Like, I want it, but I don't want the guilt that comes with buying a $400 statue.
You know what's funny, though? The Xbox One's actually cheaper than the than the statue.
It's $350
shipping and taxes.
Oh, man.
And it's $50 off now.
Yeah. Now, they do have, and we don't have to talk too much about this, they do have an installment plan for the Robotnik statue, but even then it's expensive as hell.
Dude, I mean, are you really going to want to explain to your wife? I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, your wife obviously knows you guys talk to each other, but, like, if I had to, like, hold that as a secret because I didn't want anybody to know, and they're like, and I had to explain to them that I'm doing payment plans on an action figure of a fat doctor that looks like, Roosevelt.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird. It's going to be very weird.
I'll just tell you this, George. I've gotten away with some things because they're small or because they blend in with a shelf of a bunch of other things. But something like that, both in the checking statements and in just the physical size of it, that's something I can't hide. I can't explain that away. Unless I go, I won a Sega contest and they sent it to me. We were the best website of the year, so they sent it to us for free.
And then she's like, don't lie. Right away.
Yeah.
Not the best.
She'll be like, I noticed that we had $100 a month go out of our account. So
you're like, oh, yeah. I don't know. Just not worth it.
So, yeah, but I guess that wraps up our Halloween special edition, super special podcast where we don't have a guest.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. Goodbye.
I hope everyone has a happy Halloween as well. For a
That should be the end.
It should be the end, but it's not.
I didn't wish everybody a happy holiday. Oh well.
You fucking suck.
All right, then. Are we done?
Yeah, we're done. I'm actually, I just put the spit at the end and people are listening to it right now.
You serious?
Well, I'm speaking forward, like I'm going to edit it at the end. And everyone's listening to it.
All right. I thought you were live. I was like, what?
No, we're not live, but this part right now is playing after the music.
Oh, okay. I'm okay with that.
You all right with that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.